Hello once again, it's your boy That's No Moon. We are back for our third Galactic Legend inspired video, and very likely this will probably be the last one on the topic. Now I've had a little bit of time to think about everything. I didn't quite expect the videos to do as well that I've recently published as I did. The first one that I did was how to min-max your farm for a Galactic Legend. Second one was when should I start farming for a Galactic Legend. The third one that I'll talk about today is which Galactic Legend should you go for first. Now the easy answer to this is whichever one that you damn well want, but I know you didn't come here for that, and that's a little bit of a boring answer, but it's a true answer. You should. The Galactic Legend farm is long, it is arduous, it is boring. There isn't a huge amount of highlights along the way, in all honesty, but when you get there it is absolutely amazing. So, and I'm also going to come at this from the perspective of only having 2 GLs. I've talked to some people that have had 4 during the course of the day or the last few days to get their opinions on it as well. So again, I'm just one of maybe a few 100,000 players that play this game. Hopefully you can get some insight into this, and hopefully it gives you a little bit more informed decision as to what first one you want to go for. So what I've done today, first part of the video, I've gone into the squads, like the byproducts of what you get from each and every Galactic Legend, talk a little bit about those and why I think they're beneficial, because essentially at the end of the day, what I also want you to do is kind of avoid a few traps. And if you're looking for a competitive edge or a min-max, this is what this video is going to be coming from in this perspective. Before we dive into it as well, you guys have been super supportive over the last few videos as well. Big thank you for that. So once again, make sure to hit that like, make sure to hit that subscribe. Super close to 1,000 subscribers. I think at the time of recording this, we're about 30 away. So it's going to be a nice milestone to hit really well. So you guys are amazing. If you are on Discord, make sure to click the link on there as well. If you do want to come over, say hi. So without further ado, let's get into it. That's enough promo talk. Let's get on to the nitty gritty. So Kylo, this was my first Galactic Legend. This is one that I would advise to absolutely everyone who is thinking about going for it. Now, you get the Galactic Legend, and in Darkside Territory battles, you can actually split this faction into 2. So you can have Kylo and the junk ones, and then you can have a crew team or a Kylo Ren and Mars team to also get, and these will get you 2 4 out of 4. So it's really nice in that terms. If you are like sort of newer or mid-game, you can actually split these into 2 teams and get 4 out of 4 with them as well. Kylo Ren and Master is an absolutely amazing character, so even if you're not farming for Galactic Legend, Kylo Ren and Master is absolutely incredible. Hux is really good, really interesting kit as well. Sith Trooper is just absolute bulldozer, hits incredibly hard, and you kind of forget how hard this guy actually hits because he's quite often up against other Galactic Legends. Honestly, any other team that you go in with him, he'll just absolutely wreck them. Such a fun character to use. Kylo Ren OG will obviously take care of all your Old Republic issues as well. First Order Stormtrooper is incredibly good. He's probably got one of the highest, I don't know this because I'm not like an absolute stato, but his armor is actually like 70%. I've got 10% on there as well, but it's an incredibly high armor as well, and he's horrendously thick to get through, so he gives you a huge amount of flexibility in terms of a tank that can sit in either one of those teams or in arena as well. The downsides of this farm is going to be, well, actually, I'll give you the upside. So Kylo is absolutely king of all the raids at the moment, and very likely won't get replaced. At the moment, they're looking at the time of writing, they're looking at something to stop him clearing phase 1 of the challenge rancor as well. That's how good he is. That's how amazing his mechanics are. And honestly, I cannot recommend Kylo as your first GL enough. However, there is a little bit of bloat there. The good thing is you do get the finalizer out of this. It is a good, it's a decent fleet. I won't say it's a good fleet. It's a decent fleet. And the same as Rey, you'll get Radis out of it as well. So it's another string to your bow. The First Order TIE pilots seem a little bit egregious, but in 3v3, they're actually really good. And 3v3, Smuggler Han comes into his own as well. And again, I know people aren't tuning in for 3v3 stats, but he double taps on his basic. He's got stuns the primary target, ability block. I'm super tempted by his Zeta as well. So So there's some nice byproducts in there. The only ones I don't really like are Captain Phasma, although she has use at high speed, and I don't particularly like the TIE pilots, but they are decent in ships. First Order officer, very limited, and if the opposing team has Hux, it's basically like wasting a character slot, in all honesty. But there is a lot of flexibility there. Now, Jedi Master Luke is the absolute king of Arena at the moment, in my opinion, but you can see here, I'll flash it up. I was able to, with Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, navigate that, no problem. You just have to think outside the box a little bit. So you get raid viability, you get a fleet out of it, you get arena viability, you get dark side territory battles viability, and you get a huge faction to play with that kind of ties in quite well. The only downside is that Supreme Leader Kylo Ren is very limited to sticking in his own faction. Now, someone who isn't is Rey. Now, Rey is from where I stood when Galactic Legends first came out, a lot more people I feel farmed for Rey as opposed to Supreme Leader Kylo Ren. And Rey is actually, so her leadership, she's going to be able to work with any light side, and this is going to last essentially forever as well. So any new light side character, her leadership is going to work incredibly well with anyone, and it's just a case of like, that's a huge amount of flexibility from your Galactic Legend. Obviously Jedi Master Luke will have to stay in the Jedi faction. Sith Eternal Emperor has to stay with Sith. Rey's the only one that actually you can put outside the faction, and then it's a pretty good, feels a little bit bloaty. You do get the Radis out of it as well, and in terms of the characters that I like JTR, I like BB-8, I like Finn, I like the two Resistance heroes as well, Finn and Poe. Don't like Resistance Pilot. I think they could probably touch up Poe Dameron, in all honesty. He does have a decent hard-hitting ship. Veteran Smuggler Chewbacca is incredible, like hit super hard. If anyone goes too light against that team, whether it's 5v5 or 3v3, they're going to get wrecked, they're going to regret it. Rose Tico, probably one of the most controversial ones in the game. At least she has use in the Challenge Rancor as a sacrifice, I guess. But this is another very, very solid first Galactic Legend. Now, Jedi Master Luke, little bit advanced and probably a little bit rich as well, because essentially if you've got the patience, this may even be the best Galactic Legend to farm straight off the bat. The reason I say this is because along the way you also get Jedi Master Luke. Now, Jedi Master Luke himself, the event is incredible, but you have to factor in his requirements for that. So there is like, you do have to add that into the equation when you're having a look at the gear that's needed. But honestly, this guy is an incredible amount of fun to play with. Hits incredibly hard. Honestly, I think he's very, very close to being like super good in 3v3. Now, Jedi Master Luke also gives you an avenue into exploring like better rebels. It will give you an amazing rebel strike force with 3PO and Chewie, Chewbacca as well at relic level 6, Han at 6. The ones that I don't particularly like, Leia, Lando, and I mean Wedge, because his ship isn't really even used anymore in the fleet. But essentially Biggs does have a use, so or his ship does have a use, so I ain't mad at that. And again, if you're going for Jedi Master Luke, you're going to need Rey at relic level 7 anyway, or Jedi training Rey. So there's a nice crossover with that. So for example, with one of these original ones, there was a little bit of, if you've got Kylo as your first, you're going to have Emperor Palpatine at 7, ready to go for Sith Eternal Emperor. Now, Rey, that's another really interesting one. I'll come back to it as well, because there's a couple of things that I want to get to first. Now, yeah, Leia I didn't like, Lando, Wedge I didn't like, Hermit Yoda feels a little bit of a waste getting to relic level 5 in all honesty, but I really, really enjoy Jedi Master Luke, like his kit, and I think it really does it does take away from a few Jedi teams. Again, it's an ongoing thing of how to split them afterwards. But honestly, this is a very, very solid faction. Mon Mothma as well. It will give you an out to use Wedge and Biggs if you want. Just look out for that Nest solo. Now, Sith Eternal Emperor, and I'll talk a little bit about the Emperor's Trap. Now, a lot of players will start straight off and they'll get Thrawn, they'll get Vader, they'll get Palpatine as well. And in all honesty, and Jedi Knight Anakin as well. And in all honesty, now you're staring down the barrel of the gun and going, well, which Galactic Legend am I going to go for first? Because this one looks the easiest to get. And on paper it is as well. However, if you do want to run him in arena, remember that you will have to farm up Sith Triumvirate as well. This character is, and again, you don't get a fleet from it. You also don't get a fleet from Jedi Master Luke as well. So that's why I think one of the original Galactic Legends are probably a very stout farm as well. Either Rey or Kylo. I lean towards Kylo, but Rey is a very, very close second because just of her kit. Ultimate is great. Sudden Whirlwind is great as well. Now, in terms of the good characters, now Vader here, one of the first characters that you should, as a newer player, should be thinking about getting to relics is Darth Vader. In all honesty, I probably think that's the actual first Gear 13 or relic that a lot of newer players will have. But Maul, very, very tough to work around. Sith Marauder only really hits that hard in a Sith Empire faction, in honesty. Dooku is great. I really like Dooku, so that I'm not really mad at. Sidious, again, that's a huge one. Relic level 7, if I remember right. Now, Piet is incredible. So this gives you like an instantly workable, along with Thrawn, this gives you a great soft counter, I guess, to Rey. And Krennic, again, that's very rich. Royal Guard, he could, if he had a rework, he used to be an amazing, amazing tank in this game. He needs a rework. He needs something doing to him to make him stand out. Troopers, this also does give you an interesting avenue to troopers as well. And Jedi Knight Anakin, as I said, he's going to be like quite a natural one, quite a character that everyone collects quite early as well. He has his ship as well. So where you stand when you're a newer player, you actually look at Sith Eternal Emperor and go, actually, I'm not that far away. That's my quickest Galactic Legend. And I will say this, a Galactic Legend is better than no Galactic Legend. 100%. Huge amount of fun, this guy, Sith Eternal Emperor. However, don't fall into the Emperor's trap. It is a lot of fun, but if you are min-maxing, I would actually think, what am I getting after this? Well, this you've got to add in Sith Empire, pretty much to relics if you want to run it in Squad Arena. You also have a lot of dead characters in terms of Maul. Hasn't really done it, and I don't think they're going to do anything with him either. My personal opinion is they're going to bring Galactic Legend, probably Maul and Ahsoka, followed by Anakin and Kenobi as well. So genuinely, I don't think they're going to do anything with Maul. He's a tough character to fit in anywhere. Bit of a banner stripper in 3v3, but essentially it's a fairly interesting mechanic as well. But there is a lot there that that I feel this has a huge amount of bloat and a huge amount of maybe for a newer player, this is going to be a tough fit. For a lot of people that I spoke to, Sith Eternal Emperor was their third or their fourth. Some people had it as their second, but a lot of people who had it as their second kind of would have preferred going a different route as well. No doubt about it, Sith Eternal Emperor is a huge amount of fun. However, I feel that for a first Galactic Legend, is a very interesting one, and it is a very interesting Emperor's Trap as well. Of do you race to get one? Because I think this gets you to one first. However, you probably would be better off with one of the original trilogy. It all depends on what player that you are, whether you're a collector, whether you just want to passion farm something, whether you love Empire, whether you love Sith, whatever it is. That's completely up to you, and that's kind of a decision that you need to make as well, is where do you want to go? Because the grinds in this are so steep, and it takes, as a newer player, it takes so long to get one character up to Gear 13. You may feel like you've got a huge amount of progress very quickly getting up to Gear 12, but honestly, when you get to Gear 12, there's a huge amount of like very, very tough gear that you've got to get. So like, it is a tough gear, it is a tough grind. You've got to be confident that you're happy with the end result as well, and that's the beauty of a Galactic Legend. Not many people regret going for it, but I thought I would explore that and the Emperor's Trap of going for the Emperor first. In terms of usability, I think there are a lot of half teams there, as opposed to synergy within the faction, or like Rey, she can work with any light side, and then you've got the rest of the resistance as well. I think it is incredibly tough to decide when you're the newer player, and I think everyone weirdly is being siphoned into this guy. Does look a lot of fun, I will agree. However, don't feel like because he is the closest, he's the best value for money, or whether you're free to play, best value of your resources. 100%, I would probably recommend an on the side of Kylo still. Or like another option is we're probably due some announcement or some announcement of new GLs very soon. It may well be worth, rather than racing towards Sith Eternal Emperor, waiting until something is announced, come along, and then work out whether you want to go for it or not. And if something Clone Wars is more your style, again, just keep the gear, don't apply it. Have a look at your options. When the dust has settled, or when people have tried it out, or whatever it is, and you really like it, then apply the gear and then go for it. The way I would rank them, so you can see on my account here, I've gone for Kylo first. I went for Jedi Master Luke second. I feel that this is probably the strongest route after your first Galactic Legend is that Jedi one, just simply because of the addition of Jedi Knight Luke. And you've then got a head start to Rey as well. Now, Rey will be my third, and then Sith Eternal Emperor may be my fourth, or I will see what is then going to come out of any announcements, because that's a decision that you have to make. Just because something stands at the moment doesn't mean very shortly, and I feel that something very shortly will come along, is going to be announced as well. So let me know your feedback as always. I feel that there is no right and wrong with this answer. For me personally, I would go Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, then I would have a look at Jedi Master Luke, or if I have the patience, go for Jedi Master Luke first. But if you're a newer player, you're going to struggle with Wampa and Hermit Yoda for Jedi Knight Luke's event. So for me, Supreme Leader Kylo Ren or Rey is a very, very viable option. I feel Rey is suited better as a second or a third GL. Absolutely amazing on defense, and Rey owners find a lot of useful ways. There's a huge amount of flexibility in there, whether it's Holdo in your tank, whether you put Malak in there, whether you put L3. Any light side character as well is going to just fit the bill. So Quill and IG 11 at the moment, they're sitting in there as well a lot of the time. It's a tough one. But for me personally, Supreme Leader, then it's a choice of either Rey or Jedi Master Luke. For me, it was Jedi Master Luke. Then I'm going back for Rey, and then I'm going on to Sith Eternal Emperor. But it'll be interesting from a newest player's perspective how siphoned in you are to go for this guy, and how tempting it is also to go for this guy rather than cycle round for something that's a little bit further away, but will probably reap you a huge amount more rewards as well. Let me know your thoughts as always. I've been That Snow Moon. Thank you all once again, and I will see you all next time.